What is a hard fact is that still on the 30th of August, French and Australian ministers of foreign affairs and defense held a ministerial 2+2 dialogue, and they agreed a joint communique. It was readily available to the public and was widely acclaimed for its strength and ambition. It encompasses, agreed by both sides, the following sentence: the two countries underline the importance of the future submarine program. Do you agree on such a communique when there is the slightest doubt on something so massive as the official backbone of your cooperation? Maybe on Mars, but not that I know on this planet. And probably the reason for which the Australian government did not want to be explicit was frankly explained by the Prime Minister himself on the 16th of September. I quote, "There was never, ever, any certainty that the long and painstaking AUKUS process would result in where we are now. And indeed, if we were unable to access this technology, then the attack class submarine is the best conventional submarine that we would have been able to utilize." In fact, confronted with the high uncertainties, which are not finished, surrounding the likely closure of an alternative deal, it was necessary to keep the possibility to continue the future submarine program. And so it was mandatory to keep us in the dark or on the back burner. The deceit was intentional. And because there was far more at stake than providing submarines, because it was a common agreement on sovereignty, sealed with the transmission of highly classified data, the way it was handled was plainly a stab in the back. France knows very well the meaning of sovereignty. We have exemplified countless times the value we attach to such notion. And it was exactly because of this, because of our shared history, because we are two neighboring Indo-Pacific nations sharing the same challenge, that France answered the call of Australia when it wanted to build a sovereign industry. This was at the core of our alliance as inked in 2017. Of course, the Australian government makes its own decision when it comes to national security. President Macron restated that very clearly. But the way this Australian government decided to turn its back on our solemn and far-reaching partnership without ever frankly consulting with France, when there were countless opportunities, without having shared frankly and openly its thoughts, or without having looked for alternatives with France, is just out of this world. With solemn promises and acts, we were supposed to develop a joint approach in the region for the next 50 years. What, after such events, can any partner of Australia now think? Is this the value of Australia's signature and commitment? Renegating on its commitment was a unilateral act from this Australian government, a conscious decision, and it is its historical responsibility. Alarm bells should have rung to the likely consequences. And if it was the case, and they did rung, and they were disregarded, it's even worse. I have seen the comments already made by many former, highly experienced Australian diplomats. These are not things which are done between partners, even less between friends, especially in view of the strong historical ties that exist between our people and citizens in this region, and also in front of the peoples of the region. Setting the record straight. Naval Group's impeccable commitment. The most recent nuclear-propelled submarine produced in the world, the Barracuda submarine, is top of its class, with groundbreaking technologies allowing remarkable performances in terms of range, stealth, and lethality. Naval Group's capacity to provide an excellent product is obvious, proven, and unquestioned. The Australian Prime Minister himself acknowledged it without ambiguity on the day AUKUS was announced, and I quote him: "The attack class submarine is the best conventional submarine that we would be able to utilize, and we remain of that view. Further adding, the attack class is a great submarine and Naval Group is a great organization to deliver such a submarine. It is important to set the record straight about Naval Group's impeccable commitment. As there are undeniable proofs of that. In the Senate, some days ago, Defense Secretary Greg Moriarty stressed in writing that the public discussion around the attack class submarine had been largely inaccurate. He added, the total estimated cost of the program was the same estimate that we took to government in 2016. And he squarely concluded there was no cost blowout.